Stop for a moment and think about the last time you were torn between two parts of yourself, each pulling in opposite directions, leaving you exhausted and uncertain about who you really are. In my years of studying Carl Jung's work deeply, I've come to understand that this inner turmoil is far more common than we realize, and that Jung's concept of the transcendent function offers a profound way to heal these conflicts from within. It is not just a psychological theory, but a lived process that can transform your experience of self. Let me walk you through how this discovery can bring new clarity and peace to your inner world. When I first encountered Jung's case studies detailing patients caught in deep emotional and cognitive contradictions, it struck me how the modern struggle mirrors what he described almost a century ago. People today still wrestle with those opposite forces of light and shadow, rationality and emotion, freedom and fear. Jung observed that what we resist or deny in ourselves only gains power over our psyche, leaving us fragmented and acting out unconscious dramas. This is why unresolved inner conflict often leads to anxiety or depression, and, importantly, why surface solutions rarely last. Recognizing this complexity, I've found Jung's insights urgently relevant now more than ever, given our fast-moving and demanding society that pushes us to split parts of ourselves for survival. The transcendent function, then, becomes a beacon of hope because it offers a way to embrace and integrate these opposites, not by suppressing either, but by allowing a new psychic perspective to emerge. So, what exactly did Jung mean by the transcendent function? Drawing from my research and reading of his writings, particularly his essays from the 1910s through his later work, he described it as a dynamic process of bringing the unconscious and conscious mind into a dialogue. Unlike simply suppressing conflict or choosing one side, the transcendent function facilitates an unfolding of new meaning through symbolic mediation. It is what happens when two conflicting psychological forces engage without triumph or defeat, creating instead a third quality that transcends and reconciles both. Think of it as an inner negotiation where opposites like ego and shadow converse and produce an unexpected resolution. For example, one of Jung's famous clinical examples involved a patient overwhelmed by irrational fears and depressive feelings, representing her unconscious shadow. By patiently engaging her dreams and fantasies, expressions of the unconscious, Jung guided her ego to sit with these terrifying contents in a mediative stance rather than fight them off. Over time, this openness allowed new symbols and insights to appear that transformed her understanding of herself and integrated those rejected feelings into her conscious identity. This process exemplifies the transcendent function because it relies on creating a psychic space where tensions are neither denied nor conquered, but creatively held. This challenged conventional psychological approaches of Jung's time that saw conflict as something to be eliminated rather than engaged. What makes the transcendent function particularly relevant today is its application beyond therapy rooms into everyday life. For instance, when you find yourself stuck in a cycle of indecision or emotional turmoil, perhaps torn between personal desires and social expectations, invoking the transcendent function means inviting curiosity and patience rather than snapping to premature conclusions. You might start with reflective journaling or attending to dreams as Jung recommended. Noticing symbols or images that seem to arise spontaneously and holding them as meaningful messengers from the unconscious. By doing so, you create an inner dialogue that gradually transforms the conflict from a deadlock into a source of new understanding. Jung also emphasized that this is an ongoing evolutionary process, best described by his term individuation, the journey of becoming whole through integrating fragmented parts of the psyche. The transcendent function is the engine of this process, helping the individual move beyond black and white thinking into a more nuanced and differentiated self-awareness. From a practical standpoint, I encourage you to actively engage your unconscious through imaginative techniques Jung practiced, like active imagination, where you let your inner images speak rather than trying to control or rationalize them. Step by step, this helps in bringing conflicting attitudes or feelings into conscious awareness without judgment. As you give space to these opposites to exist simultaneously, you actually weaken their divisive grip and foster a creative synthesis that feels authentically yours. Remember, Jung firmly believed in the human capacity for transformation, even in the face of our darkest conflicts. He saw this transcendent function as a fundamental psychological mechanism we all possess that can lead to reconciliation within ourselves and renew our sense of meaning and direction. Taking this insight to heart invites us to approach inner conflict not as a problem to be solved externally, but a mystery to be lived through and emerged from with greater wholeness. In closing, Jung wanted us to remember that our psyche is not fractured permanently, but capable of healing through dialogue between conscious and unconscious. The transcendent function is this sacred dialogue, enabling us to resolve inner conflicts by creating something new that neither side alone could achieve. When employed consciously, it holds the promise of transforming confusion to clarity, despair to unity, fragmentation to unity. Imagine the profound impact on your life if you could begin to turn your own inner clashes into creative growth rather than endless struggle. Tomorrow, we will explore a pivotal next step in this journey by addressing the question, how can I develop a relationship with my unconscious? Building this relationship is essential because it acts as the gateway to activating the transcendent function within your own experience. I encourage you to like and comment with your thoughts or personal experiences about today's reflection so we can continue this meaningful conversation together. Please subscribe to stay connected because uncovering Jung's wisdom about the unconscious will continue to guide you towards deeper self-understanding and transformation. Trust me, when tomorrow's video is the next crucial step in your Jungian path and will equip you with practical ways to nurture your unconscious connection, without which the transcendent function cannot fully unfold. Together, let's embrace this journey towards integration and wholeness with courage and compassion.